Hello YouTube, flashlight enthusiast here. Today the Wuben X1 Falcon on my channel, in many ways the revolutionary product, and I'm so excited to bring you guys to. And I hope this review won't take too long because I have so much to say about this flashlight. First things first, let's look at the box here. We've got the beautiful cardboard, high quality finish with lots of details, white cardboard, high quality, and quite thick walls. Here in the back you've got some details about the flashlight, which is always a welcome addition. And let's take a look what we've got included. First thing, when you open the box you can see the high quality holster is specially designed to accommodate the X1 Falcon, and as you can see we do have some heft to it. It is well finished, closes securely. We have the plastic D-ring, some standard mount with double clip, just always a good addition, and the loop for belt has a decent width, so it should accommodate most of the belts. I'm not sure if mine came like this, but as you can see it is there. The closing of the holster is secure, however you might have problems opening it with one hand. It does not come close to Olight quality and resourcefulness in this area. In the package you also get the multi-language user manual of the Falcon, as well as a bunch of accessories, including USB-C to USB-C charging cable, and last but not least, quite unique looking camouflage lanyard with adjustable wrist length. I believe this is the correct way to attach it, although I'm not a huge fan of attaching metal to metal, to be honest. As the lanyard attachment is quite wide, I'm sure you can accommodate a standard paracord 7mm cord with some effort. As you may have seen from the website, the Wuben X1 Falcon comes in the standard black anodized version, or in this increasingly popular Mao finish, which is nothing else but micro arc oxidation, which can be seen, for example, on this Manker MK38. It is a beautiful finish, however it is much more prone to damage, scratches, and overall, although it looks good, I usually stick to the standard type 3 hard anodization. Let's just stop on the design here for a second, because for me the Wuben X1 is one of its kind and pretty revolutionary product nowadays in 2023. Look at the design here. It gives the impression of a one solid piece of aluminum. However, it is made up of 3 sections tightened by screws. It is completely different approach to the shape of the flashlight than your standard cylindrical ones that you can see tons of them on the market. Here I can count on one hand the flashlights on the market that use the double battery setting at are flat, and this is including some Phoenix, Nightcores, maybe even Olights, but you cannot see many of them on the market. And it's pretty shame, because this one actually is way more compact and pocketable than the cylindrical 3-emitter flashlight. First impression that I take it in my hand, it is definitely not the most ergonomic flashlight I have had in my hands, and all those futuristic design edges just dig into your palm, and it's not the most comfortable hold that you will experience. However, this flashlight just looks outstanding and futuristic, as I mentioned, and in this particular aspect I think this one is definitely unique. So we've got some grooves here to improve your grip, also here and here on this edge, but other than that you've got the center switch that just goes under your thumb naturally. We do have this amazing cooling gadget that we've got the built-in cooling fan here on the right portion that is automatically activated when the flashlight internal part reaches a certain temperature, which is also cool. And here in the front we've got the triple LED design. Note that this is already after the modification. The stock emitters are with dome, so you've got the triple XHP70.2 HD, and this one featured here on the video features the third generation XHP70 high emitters. So this is not stock, but I definitely would advise Wuben to make it stock version, because this swap is easy and gives you a ton of advantage when it comes to beam cleanness, but also a little bit of throw, and output drop is not that huge. And when it comes to batteries, it does use the double 21700 setup, and it does come with built-in batteries. However, this is not a battery pack that you might expect, but rather regular Wuben 4800 mAh batteries. And although you can see the sign of screwdriver crossed out, you actually can unscrew those 4 screws without any problems and throw in your own 21700 batteries. All you need is just this little H1.5 screwdriver tip, precision screwdriver, and a couple of minutes. Make sure to hold the cap really tightly, as the springs are under severe tension down there. You don't want to damage the screws. Okay, there we go. As you can see, normal batteries. There is also an O-ring there, so make sure to be careful with that. But as you can see, ordinary Wuben 4800 mAh batteries, 21700 obviously, without protection circuit board, as you can see. So these are a little bit shorter. If you are curious, there are 2 springs down there, so flat top or button top, doesn't matter. Same here. As these are good high capacity, high quality batteries, I'm putting them back in. However, I like the opportunity to use my own batteries despite this flashlight claiming the battery pack instead. This is how you do it. Wuben, congrats and keep it up. So as you can see in this really shallow orange pill reflectors, changing the emitters from HD to HI, so from high density to high intensity without any dome on it, gives you a slight advantage in beam quality and also a little bit in throw. However, the beam is still extremely floody, as you can see here. So basically you got this extremely wide beam with quite oval hotspot, as you may tell, but also a huge amount of spill light that will translate into a great beam pattern, for example, for bike riding. That's why I'm really surprised that Wuben did not include the bicycle mount here as a stock option. However, you can buy it separately for like $17, so it's not the big deal, really. What you will get from the stock emitters is this tint shift in the corner of the hotspot, more like a bluish to greenish one. Here's the neutral white, obviously, but you will definitely notice the different color temperature in the hotspot and the spill, with spill being cold whitish, purplish, bluish, and the spot being greenish and bluish. However, when you swap emitters for high intensity, you will notice the clean spot with no tint shift towards the spill or corona, which is always highly appreciated. The greatest advantage for me is the size to output ratio, because let's face it, if you like to take different triple XHP70.2 LED flashlights, that you are left with this legendary TrueNight TN36 Limited, which is just huge compared to the Falcon. But also you can take the quad XHP50.2 LED with Sovereign Q8 Pro, which is also similar form factor, offering really similar output to those two flashlights, the Wuben X1 Falcon is so much more pocket friendly and compact compared to those two. Obviously, on the downside, because of the mass and dimensions, this one cannot sustain that much of an output and also hits up pretty quickly compared to those two. But if you need to choose a compact flashlight with a really boosted output that is quite flat and can easily fit into your front pocket, then Wuben X1 is really good choice here. As more and more manufacturers incorporate active cooling system, so is the Wuben. Alright, here's the small EDC slash adventure flashlight, but why not utilize the well-known cooling fins design here? As you can see, it is shiny metal, so I suppose it's not copper. However, it does work quite well. We do have the cooling fins all along those edge here under the MCPCB, and from the other side we've got the small blowing fan that activates after a certain temperature is reached inside a flashlight, and it blows air from this direction through the cooling fins all along and blows out the air from this hole. It gives you a small advantage in the turbo output, also on the high mode. And if you are worried about extreme temperatures coming from, this huge amount of power from 3 XHP70 LEDs, then don't worry, the thermal threshold on this flashlight is set like for 45 degrees, so all the heat will accumulate here and you won't even feel it. Obviously, when you reset the turbo a couple of times, the heat accumulated here will be a little bit too much to hold, but as long as you hold the flashlight here, you're perfectly safe. Oh, don't worry, it does not run Unreal, so UI is pretty straightforward. However, we've got some enthusiast-friendly solutions, which I also highly appreciate. First things first, one click for on, one click for off. Hold the switch to enter the lowest mode, and then click to turn off. It does remember all the modes, so when you hit the moonlight shortcut, it does remember it correctly. Then hold the switch to cycle through ultra low, low, medium, high, and then back to ultra low. It is in the loop. Great! Double tap in any state to enter the impressive turbo output. Triple click to go into the flash mode, then double click to go into turbo again, double click to go back into the last used mode, and then one click for off. There is also a hidden SOS mode, so if you triple click for strobe and then triple click again, you should get into the SOS mode. Triple click again will bring you back to strobe. With such powerful flashlight, obviously you have to lock it out, and as it does not feature any removable tail cap by all that means, you have to use the electronic lockout, which is activated by 4 clicking the switch. 3 blinks and the flashlight is locked out. Single click will give you the LED indicator under the switch in blue color, indicating that the flashlight is locked out. Let's go to the enthusiast part, right, shall we? So, in any given mode, Wuben actually decided that you can customize the output. It does come with the set amount of lumens you can deviate between, and to do that, in any given mode, you click and hold, and then you activate the ramping mode, which ramps up and down between the given range. And when you like to set this in a given amount of lumens, you just depress the switch. So as you can see, the flashlight starts to dim. It will blink to indicate the bottom of the ramp. So let's just say I like it here. I depress the switch and then I'm set. Well, if you decided that you messed up and you'd like the factory settings of the set modes, then there's no problem at all. You just lock out the flashlight 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you make a complicated series of clicks, which indicates like 1, 2, and 3 in half a second incrementals. So 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. When the flashlight after this turns on in the lowest setting, as presented here, you know that you've done everything right. There is also a battery indicator underneath the switch with 4 stages. constant blue above 90%, blinking blue between 90 and 40%, solid red between 40 and 15%, and blinking red below 15%. Note that the battery indicator will be displayed for first 5 seconds after turning on the flashlight, and then it will disappear. The exception is the lowest battery indicator, when the flashlight will blink red to indicate that it needs charging. Speaking of charging, it does feature built-in USB-C charging port under this really tight-fitting rubber cover. I found it easier to pull it from this side. It is a great port, really, and the charging takes around 2 hours, which is extremely fast for two 21700 cells with almost 5000 mAh battery capacity. The charging indicator is built again under the switch, so red means charging in progress and blue means fully charged. Please note that while it does support USB to USB-C charging, it is not the power bank. So if you plug it into the other device, the charging just won't start at all. The cooling fan is by all means intelligent, and it is activated by the internal temperature trigger. Let's wait a little bit further, and it is quite silent. You cannot miss it when it starts to operate. However, it is not disturbing by any means. It is quiet, silent, and does its job quite well. I can already feel the heat building up here, and definitely feel it here with this radiator. And when I turn off the flashlight, the fan stops. So this is one downside to this fan. The other downside for me, and it's a huge one, is that this built-in fan is not waterproof. So we've got this IP56 waterproof certificate. So a little bit of rain and that's all. You cannot submerge it, you cannot go with heavy rain with it. So for me, as a bicycle flashlight, potentially it is a huge downside that this flashlight might be prone to damage due to the heavy rain or water coming up from, your tires and wheels. So this is something that I would work on in future models. Another thing that drives me crazy is the switch. It has this rattle and travel that just drives me nuts. Come on, Wuben. You can do better than that. Here are my lumen measurements of the stock emitters of the Wuben X1. If you are curious what it is about the high emitters, here you can see the results. Alright, so let's look at the runtime graphs here, because I think here we can find the true advantage of this Wuben and cooling fans. First, let's examine the stock version with XHP70.3 high density emitters. So here, as you can see, I measure around 11,610 lumens, so not really far from claimed 12,000. And as you can see, we've got around 55 seconds before the flashlight started to step down from over 10,797 lumens to around 2,725 lumens after the flashlight had achieving 35 degrees, so not really hot actually. As you can see, we've got excellent flat output regulation. Over the course of like 1 hour and 55 minutes, flashlight was able to sustain around 2,748 lumens, so really respectable, especially for that small size of a head and really tiny little cooling fan. And the flashlight body did stabilize around 47 degrees Celsius. After swapping the LEDs to XHP70.3 high intensity, we do have slight drop in output, overall 10,520 lumens at start, and as you can see, 55 to 56 seconds before the flashlight started to step down again, but here from around 9,744 lumens over the course of 25 seconds to around 2,530 lumen level, with flashlight body again achieving around 35 degrees Celsius before stepping down. So as you can see, again, a perfect flat output regulation, around 2,560 lumens sustained with overall runtime of 1 hour and 48 minutes. flashlight body stabilizing at around 45 degrees Celsius, so slightly cooler mind you, which is quite interesting. Let's jump to high mode. Stock emitters now, 2880 lumens measured at startup, as you can see, no step down whatsoever, perfectly flat curve with around 2720 lumens sustained over the course of 1 hour and 43 minutes. Flashlight body got slightly hotter than on turbo output, mind you, around 52 degrees, so nothing really hot, but you will definitely feel the heat building up. After swapping the LED, we've got around 2750 lumens at startup, and flashlight was able to sustain around 2630 lumens over the course of 1 hour and 59 minutes, so slightly longer runtime mind you, and the flashlight body also got a little bit cooler to 48 degrees Celsius. Last but not least, interesting fact about the medium mode with stock emitters, as you can see, around 1000 lumens, but look at the curve here. From around 2.5 hour mark, we do have slightly rising output towards the end of the runtime. Flashlight body was able to sustain around 1000 lumens over the course of 5 minutes and 34 minutes, which is extremely respectable for only 2 batteries. The flashlight body achieving around 45 degrees, mind you. I'm not sure if the cooling fan was running here, but I believe it did, so maybe because of this, the rising output. Pretty cool, huh? So my choice for comparison is as follows. Wuben X1 modded to XHP70.3 high intensity in cool white. The Truelight TN36 Limited with stock XHP70.2 neutral white LEDs. Sovereign Q8 Pro modded to neutral white XHP50.2 3V high density emitters. And last but not least, the Monker MK38 modded again to the XHP70.3 high intensity 5000K 90 CRI emitters. Let's see how they all compare in the forest. So this is what is so exciting about this hobby 2023, is that the manufacturers start to pushing the boundaries of what it is traditional, what is set and standard. So I highly appreciate the Wuben X1 Falcon here for standing out from the crowd and being unique in every shape and form. I really like the form factor, I really like the execution. Obviously, this flashlight is not for everyone, but for those who need the compact monster that will fit into the pocket, has some, quick charging and active cooling, this I think is a perfect one. Consider swapping the LEDs for high intensity and your beam quality will improve vastly. Also, make sure that you are careful in the rain. But apart from this flashlight is really great. Highly appreciate that Wuben did include the possibility to swap and fit in your own cells, and the charging is really fast for this amount of capacity of the batteries. I think is really great. Also appreciating the flexibility of the UI, but not overcomplicating it. So in my opinion, this is definitely 9 out of 10 for the flashlight rating, and really enjoying using and reviewing this one. So guys, definitely recommending this one to you. With some downsides, I think still pluses overcome the minuses, and the quality of this particular flashlight is good, except for the switch, obviously. So yeah guys, I think that's all I've got to say about this Falcon. Sorry for some delays in the reviews, but I have a really intense time right now during the first 2 months of this year, so I hope to return with more content to you guys soon. Stay tuned, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.